Hey crawlers, it's Friday. I've had a relatively long week at work, so I am going to have a beer and show you guys 5 things you can do to just about any Jeep to get it ready for the trail on the cheap. 1. Recovery points. This is very important. If you're going to go off-road, you need recovery points. Some people might say that number 1 should be a winch. You'll notice I don't have a winch. Winches are expensive. I have wheeled for the past 20 years with no winch. You can do it without a winch. You got to be careful, and you got to make sure you don't wheel alone. But if you can't afford a winch, at the very least, you need tow points. Now, these are the stock tow points that came from the factory on this 2005 Jeep TJ Unlimited, otherwise known as an LJ. But I'm going to recommend that replace the stock front bumper, which just about everybody does anyway. I just haven't gotten there yet on this Jeep. And make sure it accepts shackles. There'll be points here or sometimes up here that this shackle will mount into, and then you have a much more positive anchor point for recovery. The reason this is more positive is because it's a closed system, okay? With a hook, you loop a strap over it, or God forbid, a chain. Don't use chains. Please don't use chains. Nothing with hooks. Soft things, like there's those Bubba ropes or whatever, the snatch ropes, there's tow straps. Use them. Do not use chains. Don't use standard ropes. They're not made for recovery. Anyway, they hook over this, but then there's nothing to keep it from slipping off other than the hook itself and friction. You could get hooks that have a mouse on the back so that they clip on there. You know, the mouse would be that clip you see on the back side of the hook. But this is just so much better. You get a winch cable that has like a factor 55 closed system loop on the end that accepts a shackle, and then on your bumper you have something that accepts a shackle. There's nothing that can slip when it's like this. The worst you'll have is one of these breaks. If one of these breaks, you're doing something you shouldn't anyway. So yeah, number 1, recovery points. Number 2, rocker protection. Now you'll notice these aren't exactly the beefiest rocker protection you'll see in the world. That's because I made these myself, and that's why I say you can do this on the cheap. If you go online and you look for rocker guards that cover the corner like this and have a step on them and are all manner of fancy, you're going to spend upwards of $400 or $500 for a good set. These, I spent $100 on some right angle steel. Now this is only, if I remember correctly, 1/8 steel. It's not the strongest thing in the world. It's only 3x3. It gets the job done. It protects the corner. This is a very vulnerable spot on your Jeep, especially longer Jeeps like the 4-door JK and the LJ because of the extra length. Now, this gets a little more complicated on the JK. They're not as easy to just make on your own because it's not a right angle at this at the rocker. That's why you don't see this style on a lot of JKs. You see the sort that goes to the frame and is like a step / rocker guard. Anyway, less than $100 I spent on these things. Like I said, they're not ideal. If I were to do it again, I'd at least go 4, maybe 5 inches. That would get you up to this door sill, okay? I'd also go thicker, probably like 3/8 inch or so, maybe 1/4 inch, just because this is not very beefy. I put a Hilift Jack on this once, and it looked like it was bending. It's going to save me in the event of a smack on a rock or something, but it's not great as a lifting point or anything for the Jeep. So these will get redone someday. This was literally, I was getting ready for a trip. I had those factory steps that come on the TJ, and I have dings on the rockers from those things because as soon as they contact anything, they get pushed right up into the body and they leave dents. I just wanted to get it handled, so I got some steel and I got it done. So there you go. Number 2, rocker protection. Don't hit the trails without them. This is more important than you think. You're saving more than just your body here. This provides a place for your vehicle to slide over obstacles, where without this, you're just going to end up destroying your body and getting stuck. So, rocker guards, or sliders, as people call them nowadays. Number 3. A CB radio. I don't care what form factor you buy, you need a way to communicate with other people on the trail. Now, obviously, the CB radio is getting to be a little dated, being replaced by what? VHF radios, UHF radios, whatever. The race radios and whatnot. Yeah, they're a better technology, but bottom line is what you need is what the other people in your group have. If everyone's going to rush out and buy $500 radios, awesome. You'll be better off than us CB folks. Me and the people I wheel with, like I said, we're on a budget. We still use CB. CB has its limitations, but it's great for communication, short distance on the trail. So, communications of some sort. I'm going to say CB radio. 4, fire extinguisher. Important stuff. You don't have a fire extinguisher, you need to get one. I don't care where you mount it. I keep mine in the back here because it's convenient, at least from a mounting perspective. It'd probably be better if it was within reach of the driver. I've seen mounts that you can put them underneath the seat, next to the seat, in the TJ. There's a nice spot right next to the door sill. However, I had mine there and it got all muddy and I didn't feel like it was great because mud was getting into the nozzle. Whatever, find a good place to mount it, but you need a fire extinguisher. I've had to use these on the trail. There are countless videos on YouTube you can find where people have lit their Jeeps on fire on the trail. You need fire extinguishers within your group. Everybody should have one. Everyone should know where they are. Okay? Mine's here. It's relatively visible unless the window's closed. Yeah, fire extinguisher. 5, Hilift Jack. I know the Hilift Jack has a bad rap amongst some wheelers, especially some newer guys, but this is perhaps one of the most versatile tools that you can carry with you on the trail. You can compress things with it, you can expand things with it, you can use it to help roll a vehicle back onto its wheels, you can use it to extract a vehicle 3 or so feet at a time, similar to how you might with a winch, just not quite as convenient. Respect the Hilift Jack. Don't take it for granted. Practice proper safety, and this thing can save your butt on the trail. So I'm going to recommend anybody that's hitting the trails have a Hilift Jack, but you got to learn how to use it. You got to learn how to take care of it, and you got to learn how to keep it stable when you're on the trail, because these things can be terribly dangerous. I almost rolled a Jeep over in the garage with one of these once, so you got to be careful with them. But accidents happen. Hopefully no one gets hurt. Learn from your mistakes, but find someone who knows what they're doing and learn from them. Take a course, whatever you need to do. These things are very, very handy tools. 6. Did I say 5? I meant 6. 6. Sway bar. You need to do something about your sway bar. Now, this is a Curry anti-rock. Obviously not the cheapest solution, but through years of experience, I've learned that sometimes you just got to spend money. You can easily swap out the anti-rock for some sway bar disconnects. But what I'm going to tell you now is the anti-rock has been one of my favorite modifications on this Jeep since I've been wheeling it. And that's because I don't have to crawl underneath the Jeep to disconnect my sway bar every time I hit the trailhead. It's going to save you time at the trailhead. You're going to have to live with some less than optimal on-road characteristics. You learn to live with them. If you've been driving Jeeps as long as I have, you don't expect this thing to handle like a Camaro anyway. Well, maybe you do sometimes. Scratch that. You never expect it to work like a Camaro. Anyway, you can get some sway bar disconnects for $150, $100, depending on what brand you buy. The anti-rock is like $350. So yeah, you can save a lot of money by not going with the anti-rock. But you need something to disconnect this sway bar or make it more flexible than the stock sway bar. Because with this thing connected, you're going to have a horrible ride off-road, and you're not going to articulate at all in the front. And it can actually put you in a situation where you could flop your Jeep over, because you raise this tire and the whole Jeep tilts with it. So, sway bar disconnect. The 6th thing on my list of 5 things you can do to your Jeep. Sorry about that. So there you have it, Jeepers. 5 things that you can do to just about any Jeep to get it out on the trail without spending a whole bunch of money on lift kits and expensive winches and whatever else will break the bank. Now I know what you might be thinking. Some of that stuff looks like it was a lot of work, specifically those rocker guards. Really, they weren't. But I've been working with metal for quite a while because of this habit, the Jeeping, that is. I'm going to recommend that anyone who gets into this sport should do the same. And I'm going to tell you why. Your Jeep is made of metal. If you run steel wheels, if you run, a steel Jeep, it's going to be handy to know how to work with metal. If you do something that damages your frame or your body or one of your wheels or whatever, knowing how to work with steel is going to help you figure out how to repair your Jeep, whether it's on the trail or back here in the garage. If you don't own a welder and grinders and cut-off wheels and sawzalls and whatever, make friends with someone who does, and someone who knows how to use them. The guy that I learned from went on to do some pretty great things before he passed away, and I do things in his memory in some cases. So this one's for you, Pete. So On that note, like I said, you probably want to get into figuring out how to work with metal. Get yourself a welder or make friends with someone who does. So yeah, I'm going to go finish my Friday night. I'm going to finish up my beer and go edit a video. So hopefully I'll see you guys later tonight when I publish this video. Thanks for watching. Oh, and hey, by the way, I've got a Patreon site now. You should go check it out. Because if you want to see more of these videos, I'd love to get paid to do it. 2, please subscribe. I've only got like 60-something subscribers at this point, and it'd be great if I could hit that 1,000 mark to turn monetization back on. I know I'm harping about money, but come on, I do this stuff for you guys for free. And while I love doing it, it'd be awesome if I could make money doing it, because I could do even more awesome things and show you guys. So, yeah, subscribe, like my video, tell all your friends, make a bunch of fake YouTube accounts and subscribe with them too. Alright, thanks, bye.